All right, game number 2, and now we might have something swapped up in a lot of different ways. In the top right, he randoms Protoss once again, and he says hope because he knows the racial balance here. It's winter.
In the bottom left, as the blue Terran, it's my Insanity's Serral.
Now look, here's the realist talk, guys. Serral could be Grandmaster with all 3 races. We don't know. I do know, however, that a player who is not well versed in one race, example Terran, could fall miserably to something like an Adept All-In, to Warp Prisms, to Cheese. The danger of these off-race matches is that there's some parts of this that really do take a lot of practice to make sure you don't die to it. And I do feel like Adepts are one of those things.
Yeah. Now in TvP between 2 professionals with their, race that they are, Adepts are no longer that much of a problem. And in fact, we don't see too often like the early Blink all-ins, or sorry, the early Adept all-ins that we did in the past. But if I think not pro gamers at this point, like Serral, like we said, we don't know his Terran, but still, I wouldn't mind Winder trying it again.
If you're not paying attention for a second, I reference Polt versus Neeb for an example, right? Like, you can lose all of your SCVs because you were not paying attention for a second. Now, granted, that's a situation where it's macro and you're distracted on 3 different fronts, but the strength of the Adepts are still there. Like, yes, they no longer one-shot the workers with 2 of them volleying at once, but they're strong enough to eradicate light units if left unattended. And again, I have no idea what Serral's going to go for. I have no idea what he's comfortable playing with. That's what I love about this, because we know him to be one of the best Zerg players in Europe, but maybe he's a shitty Terran.
Well,
maybe he's an amazing Terran. I don't know.
He knows the build order so far, but you know what I would do if I got Protoss and my opponent was not a main Terran?
DTs.
Even actually,
DTs.
Yes.
No question.
Even if my opponent was a main Terran, I would still go DTs, always.
So, I was working my way to DTs, so we started with the Adepts because it's kind of like that tier 1 cheese leading into like tier 2 cheese, leading into like State doing proxy Tempest or something silly levels of cheese. Although I guess when he did it, it wasn't proxy, it was his own base, because Elrena is basically a giant proxy.
A giant proxy? Isn't that...
That's Elrena in a nutshell.
Isn't that... That's not even good grammar. A giant proximity?
Yes.
Yes. Deal with it, Zombie Grub. I make the words. I'm in control.
You see Winter's picture on his Nexus? Yes. Deal with it.
It doesn't even say deal with it on the sunglasses.
Does it?
No.
Oh, I was just saying deal with it. And then, like, my face when type thing.
I see.
My face when Zombie Grub's busy dealing with it.
Well, Serral's got to deal with a Stargate. It's got a segue.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you ride that thing to work every day or what?
I wish. It actually snowed another 5 inches last night.
Damn.
Like, damn it.
That's crazy.
It is cray-cray.
How did you measure 5 inches, though? I know how I do it, but how did you?
You get a yardstick out, which has inches on it. It's being called a yardstick.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that work? I know this is like a joke where like you can't have 3 feet, or no, how many inches to make a foot?
12?
Yeah, you can't have 12 inches, or I can't remember how this works, man. American measurements are so stupid. I love the metric system. It goes by 10. Yeah. Like, what is 3/4 of an inch? Just say fucking like 3 out of 40 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
3 out of 40.
Just use increments of 10. It's easier. All right. Metric system rocks. Imperial system drools. Proxy coming into the base. And Serral's actually going for a Liberator build. Double Liberators. This could both work out and fail miserably. Because A, they're not going to take out a single Oracle very quickly.
Ooh,
and B, Winter's following this up with a Phoenix. Okay, so these Marines will deal with this. He's got to pull away. Winter's following this up with Phoenix. So if those actually lock themselves in place outside the mineral lines, they will go down. Now, he sees that reactor. I think he knows what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. The Liberators really are a quite good idea on this map specifically, like not in general against Protoss, but this map was kind of the first thing we noticed about it was there's dead space behind both of the mineral lines and some dead space in the main too for maybe later drops. The Phoenix though is going to try and just deter this from happening at all, but only one Phoenix. If you siege up both Liberators, they're still going to have a lot of time to shoot and deny mining. Go get him, Phoenix.
Overcharge just barely gonna miss this one. I guess he's gonna try and overcharge the other one. He knows there's a second one coming, but there we go. The Phoenix are gonna chase this off. A little bit of damage, maybe because of probe. Nope. Shut down. Second one, probes get pulled, so very little damage over here. Not too bad.
Yeah, the Phoenix is going to clean up. There's actually no reason to pop an overcharge other than maybe like faster mining by a tiny bit. As denying mining can be a big deal. It didn't deny a ton, and was it worth it? Probably not. 2 Liberators is quite expensive. That delays your medevacs too. But, you know, you follow up, you try again with said medevacs, and Serral does have enough to drop, enough to push out with.
Yeah, and Stim's about finished as well. I don't think +1's going to sync up very well for this, obviously, but at the same time, that's not a big problem. Combat Shields is a little bit more important, but regardless, Stim's going to give him the ability to move around. Kind of a cool move out of Winter. You're kind of choked into your base through this one pathway, so maybe catches the SCV, maybe catches Marines moving out.
Yeah. Serral... Okay, he's getting a 3rd CC. Yeah, I don't mind if he plays defensive against Protoss.
What's he
She has Winters. I'm not sure.
I just checked his vision. I actually have no idea where the fuck he just scanned. What? I know he scanned, but where?
It looks like...
If he scanned the main... No, he didn't scan the main or the natural, because he would have seen more buildings.
I think he scanned where, like, to the left of his SCV a little bit. Like, if you check his mini-map, it kind of makes, like, a half circle.
Oh, yeah, maybe I've been checking this base to see if it was safe.
He also could have been just accidentally misclicked. Like, as a Terran player for the last 3 years, I have misclicked scan on my mineral line enough times to be embarrassed about it. And maybe once or twice in the middle of nowhere.
Maybe. We got more of those stasis traps coming in. They're going to be nice for catching a couple of units, but they're also really easy to juke.
Yeah, I can't believe they just entirely went around that stasis trap, by the way. They're going to get this Onaga tower. They will have +1 in this attack. And Winter, well, he has a decent army. No upgrades except Resident Glaives on top of it, though, so has to be careful, a little dependent on the force fields, to save the Immortals from being targeted down, most importantly. The gold base being taken was a risk from Winter. You could have the ramp on his side with this instead of just this nice concave that Serral can get. But I don't think Serral can actually take on that army. He'd be better off just dropping.
Yeah, agreed, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Mothership Core... could recall this to the main if he had gone right away, but a little bit late to reply, so this could get messy. Winter's army's good, it's just not here.
Yeah, and it is pretty darn slow, especially as far away as it is with the 4th base instead of the 3rd. And the recall was a good choice. Now just pick up and try and go to the 3rd base.
But this was scary. You get this Phoenix on you. Unfortunately, the one medevac that has nothing in it is the one that's taking the damage, but... yeah, maneuvering back and forth between the 2 bases is going to be a very serious problem. I would say, honestly, the best bet, probably leave the Phoenix in the Mothership Core in the main for overcharge / pick off the medevacs. Leave the army like on this bridge so they can respond faster to either location. Either way, I mean, Serral is kind of undedicating to this. He's sending 2 of these medevacs back home.
Yeah, that's weird. He should have immediately pounced on that 3rd base, but just chilled out underneath an observer. So Winter is fine with that. Winter actually, I think, just more scared of him going back into the main base. That's why it took him so long to move his army back around.
I mean, Winter's gotten away with the gold base, too, while this goes on. Like, this is nice for him, but Serral's got that 3rd. He just dropped a ton of mules, so his income just spiked through the roof. If I didn't ruin the graphs, I would show you guys. Actually, they made it, so never mind. But regardless, Oracle going to spot this. Not casting Revelation, doesn't have the energy, but now where there's 2 more medevacs heading elsewhere. And again, this is where the army needed to be a little bit better positioned, I guess.
Oh, he thought it was going to the natural.
Yeah, Serral's going to try... I think Serral was going to try to multi-prong harass, but doesn't end up working. These Marauders don't have the damage to take down that Nexus before this does. Ooh, picks off that medevac. That was sweet. Heading into the natural base now. There's not really anything here to stop it, but... this isn't the biggest threat of units either. In fact, feedback. Space slams the medevac to oblivion. Storm's not out yet. Relying on purely adepts to hold this. Double medevacs here on the right side, but this feels a little bit awkward. Yes, it does. I feel like Serral wanted to go to the main while this happened, but either forgot. Like, he had picked up and moved, and I think he was going to try and juke the Phoenix by, like, doubling down, so to speak. But the observers all saw that, so the Phoenix just lie here and wait.
Yeah, it's been pretty odd drops. Like, all the ideas were there, but the execution was unfortunately not, so he has to go back home.
That's what I love. Like, every time somebody messes up today, especially a pro player, That's exactly what we want out of this tournament. Not so we can sit here and harshly judge them and pish posh, Serral, you should be better, you're a grandmaster player. Like, it is nice to see people out of their element. It's all for fun today, and I want to really remind people about that.
Yes, yes, it is.
Stupid shit's gonna happen, and that's the goal.
Serral's gonna have some fun with range liberators. Now he has a couple liberators already out, and with the ramp, especially if they actually go ahead and siege up right now, he will do fine defensively.
But there's two ramps, that's the problem.
He's kind of walling off the other side though, so that'd be an awkward engagement for both of them should Winter go over there.
Winter could actually probably just transfer through and not even fight the army head on. Serral, the same way Serral would struggle to keep up, or sorry, excuse me, the same way Winter was going to struggle to keep up with Serral at home, if there's a depth start heading towards the main and the natural, that's when the army gets pulled apart, the liberators get picked off. But not doing that.
Gonna take his gold base. This is gonna be a planetary, which is a lot nicer than Winter's. But Winter, like, having gotten away the gold base just in general is not very good for Serral here. But his Liberator count's getting higher and higher, and Winter is not getting Colossus. 3 weeks ago, if I had said that, everyone would just be like, well,
yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you talking about? But as we've recently found out, Colossus do seem to be a pretty nice counter to Liberators, as dumb as that sounds.
The Phoenix give themselves away a little bit early. He's going to transfer, cancels the transfer. Now he's just getting caught. Force fields might be the best bet to try and escape. I think he was hoping that Stasis Warp would trap more, but only caught one. Now Winter doesn't realize, did he not realize there's rocks here?
Uh-oh.
But Serral doesn't take advantage of this either.
I was worried about getting caught by force fields, I suppose.
Oh, so he's going to go around, but so Winter, like, counter jukes the juke. The juke's on you. Turns around and can't quite kill this base. So many Liberators and no anti-air. He can deal with the Bio Army if there wasn't so many Liberators threatening nearby. Serral, of course, underestimating the power of Marauders at the moment. But as a Zerg player, he should be complaining about how good they are, I believe. And Liberators from both ends, that's going to be it for poor Winter's army. And that's probably going to be it for poor Winter, period.
Yeah, just an awkward army engagement all around, and well, it's now, whoa, that army supply quite bad for Winter, even if he does have Storm and a gold base.
I will say, like, up until that, like, what kills me, there wasn't really a reason to dedicate to that, right? But like up until this point, Winter was actually doing pretty good on army supply, especially army composition and style. But even the best players are struggling to deal with Liberators right now. Templar looking for some storms, but that oh god, that happy style like leapfrog forward as he just covers every single ramp. Winter does not have blink, Zombie Grub.
Oh well, that's going to be difficult to take care of those Liberators then.
I'm going to say straight up impossible.
Storm is going to cover maybe a couple of them as they're a little clumped up, but even then, all the storms will probably not even be used in this game. Like a couple of the high jumper will die trying to catch up to the Bio Army. I think Winter knows his position, but is hoping that Serral will just 1A into storms, which could
it is two ramps, and if he tries to go around it with medevacs, he'll have to worry about getting hit by them. This is, I guess Serral just scanning to make sure, like, is there a secret army? Is there a secret base? Like, why would he be sticking in this otherwise? There's a lot of cannons. Can't be hit by the Liberators. He's going to dive forward and go for all the storms he can, but unfortunately the Liberators are going to target down most of this army before he gets a chance to fight. Storm's not hitting much. In fact, eating a lot of his own storms. And that's going to be game this time around. GG. Now, Winter did ask if he could